Sometimes when you're making a curry you need to have a hot curry paste to hand. What I've got here, I've got 4 tablespoons of ground coriander, 4 tablespoons of chili powder, I've got 4 teaspoons of ground cumin, which is here, I've got 4 teaspoons of ground garam masala, which I made the other day, I've got 3 teaspoons of turmeric, which is mildly antiseptic and can be quite bitter if you use too much, so I've taken a spoonful out of there and I've only used 3. And I've down here in my little pot here, I've got 2 teaspoons of fenugreek, 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard, 2 teaspoons of fennel seeds which I've ground up, and 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, which is this one here. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a paste up. We're going to use our vinegar and our water mix this in a bowl, get a paste, and then we're going to fry it off. Get yourself a decent sized bowl, take your spices, and all we're going to do is just spoon the whole lot into the bowl. There you go. Take your water mix, pour that on. So take your mixture, water and vinegar, and just mix that around. Make yourself a paste. Start infusing the spices with your water. Now, what we're going to do with our paste, it does look a little bit watery at the moment, but trust me, it will go. We will leave this to stand for 15-20 minutes, then we'll come back and we're going to stir fry this. Now I know that's dangerous to fry a liquid when it's mostly water, because it spits on you. We'll start off the frying pan very low. We'll use the oil, and what we'll do, we'll let it heat up and we'll evaporate a lot of the water off and the paste will thicken up. So I'm just letting my frying pan heat a little bit, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my paste mixture for my hot curry paste and I'm going to fry that off. Before I add this in, there's liquid still in there, and there's a spice mix slightly underneath the surface of that liquid. Now by frying that off, it'll evaporate and create a nice spice. Vegetable oil. Now I'll put it on a medium heat to start with. Right, I can hear that heating now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly pour this in. You can see the spices are actually starting to form the paste now, so all I need to do now is put a whole lot into the pan. Now we need to fry the spices off, and what we are going to do is once this starts heating up and cooking, the oil and the spices, when we give it a stir around, will actually combine and fry the paste off. And once the paste is fried enough and the liquid in the paste has evaporated enough, what will happen is the oil will start to separate again and float on the top. And that's the time you notice that your spice cooking, your spice has cooked enough to actually bottle up. So I'm keeping my eye on my spice mix now. I'm standing with it all the time. I'm gently stirring it. I want the spices to fry rather than burn. Now I've been cooking this hot spice mix, hot spice paste, for about 20 minutes now. Now This is actually cooked, I believe. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just turn the heat off and let this cool 4 or 5 minutes. Now the oil that's mixed with the spice will actually come out and float on the top. Now that will prove that the spices are cooked. So what I'll do now, just leave this 4 or 5 minutes to cool, and then I'm sterilising some jars in the oven. Now the tried and tested method there is to clean them, wash your jars out, make sure they're all clean, put them in the oven about 15 minutes, about 150 degrees, and leave them in there for about 10 minutes, let them cool down. Boil the lids with some hot water, and then the spice can get added into the jar. We can save this in the fridge for about 6 months, because the oil will float to the top, create a seal from the air, and the spices will keep quite nicely for quite a long time. Also, remember there's vinegar in here. Vinegar is a preserving agent. Okay, so what I've got here, I've got my paste mix, I've got sterilised jars, I've got a sterilised jam filter which I'm going to use to pour the spice mix into the jar. I've got a cup full of boiling hot water with all the lids in it, so they're sterilised as well. And what I need to do now is just pour it all in. So just give your spices a stir, and then slowly start to pour them into your jar. You just tap the spices into the jar. Make sure you don't touch the inside of the lid with your fingers when you come to jar this up. So there's my jar. I've labelled it hot curry paste, and I put a date on it, 6/17. And if we look at the top of the lid area of the jar, you can see there's a layer of oil coming out of the sauce. And that's exactly what we want to see, because the oil is actually creating a barrier between the air and the sauce paste. So that will actually help it keep a lot longer. So let's put this in the fridge, and this should probably keep for about 6 months.